We're going to cover virus evolution later on in the term. We're going to learn about some viruses first and then kind of how they change, because otherwise you're trying to hit a moving target, basically, that you don't yet understand. But it's a weird, fascinating field. It's like regular evolution, but with all the dials just turned up, right up to 11. So there's this idea that there are a lot of potential fitness peaks out there. And fitness peaks are where you can actually replicate really fast. So think of a virus having lots of little viruses or being able to infect lots of people and produce more virus. Yeah, just increasing your biological load in general. But the idea is that as the virus mutates, it's going to move away from one of these fitness peaks because probably it's pretty close to that peak. Or if it's far away, maybe some of its offspring are going to move down, in which case they're probably dead, and maybe some others are going to move up, in which case they're probably a little bit better, and they're going to be the next one that does this. But viruses also do weird things where instead of just moving sort of slowly, sliding up and down hills, which is kind of what normal evolution by mutation is, viruses can do recombination. And they can pick up genes that don't belong to them, they can steal, and that lets them jump from one potential fitness peak and make giant jumps. And sometimes when they jump, maybe they land on a slope that's much higher. Maybe they land on some sort of genetic configuration that has the potential to give a virus that grows even more, even faster, even better. And when stuff like that happens, it's completely unpredictable. It's predictable that it will happen, but which particular way it will move is totally unpredictable. And also very consequential. These are the big changes that bring new viruses into the world or bring viruses from one host into another host and just cause lots and lots of problems. Along with this concept, we have this cool idea of Darwinian survival of the fittest. And so fittest in this case would be the thing with the highest peak, or the one that's closest to the top of the peak for that species is going to be the fittest. So you could hold a contest, you could decide who the fittest is, and then, they win, you lose, whatever. Maybe it's you. Congratulations. Yeah. Fittest human ever. It's not me. That's okay, because I know virology, and that'll do. But with viruses, what you get are often not survival of the fittest, although there are some species that will work just like that, very sort of neo-Darwinian mechanics. There'll be others where it seems to be more like survival of the flattest. So you're going to want, for these viruses, they'll be on a bubble. It won't be that high, but they'll be able to move around the top, and each time they move, instead of having a large drop in fitness, it'll actually be a pretty small drop. So you see stuff like this with viruses that have to evade the immune system over and over and over again so they can infect you 1, 2, 3 times a year. Think like this guy, mucus green COVID, SARS-CoV-2 actually. Think something like HIV, think like the flu, think like some of the common cold viruses. These things are, we think, relatively flat quasi-species, or relatively flat genetic configurations, we'll get to that word later, that are able to, absorb a lot of mutations that let them evade key antibodies and T cells while still having most of their replication powers intact. Yeah. So, you don't have to be the best. You just have to get to the next level when you're a virus. Yeah, that's important. Okay, a couple of other very strange examples. Are there good viruses? Well, you tell me. These are some of the viruses that are embedded in the human genome, and we actually find the same virus in the same place in the genomes of our ancestors. So Denisovin, or Homo denisova, this is one kind of caveman. These have been found in kind of the Russian plains areas. And Neanderthals also have some of the same viruses embedded in their genome that we have. And so, I don't know. If you think people are good, people are more virus than person, honestly. So this is a virus that's actually grabbed a bunch of cells, fused the cells together, And so it's basically making an X and an O, which is old-timey code for a kiss and a hug. So can a virus be bad if it's, wishing you the best and giving you a kiss? I don't think it can. I don't think that's possible. That was stupid. Anyway, let's go. There are viruses that actually have positive effects on the host of their host. There aren't really viruses that have positive effects directly on their hosts. There are usually enough negatives that the host would be fine without the virus if you could clear it out. Yeah, the positives are usually pretty small, a little smaller than the negatives. But sometimes the negatives aren't that bad. Anyway, this is a virus that infects a fungus. And when the virus infects the fungus, then the fungus can't kill the plant. So what happens is, if you have a plant with no fungus and no virus and you put it in the oven, which you should not do to your plants, but we're simulating drought and high heat, then the plant looks like this. If you take the same plant and put the fungus on it, which sucks a little bit of the life out of the plant, and then you put it in the oven, it looks like this. So it's still dead, equally dead. The black bar is completely dead, and the little hashed bar down here is, or striped bar, is nearly dead, chlorotic, yellow, and sick. If you take the plant and you put the fungus on it, and you put on a virus of the fungus, the virus modifies the fungus, so the fungus now can't really hurt the plant, but it causes the plant to, we think, just wither a little bit. So the plant does not do well, but if you expose it to these high heat and basically drought conditions, the plants actually survive. They're pretty much all healthy and all doing fine. And if you have fungus with no virus and you add in the virus, or if you have the fungus and the virus and add them in at the same time, you actually get the same result. So yeah, is that virus helping? Indirectly, and it's not helping the thing it's infecting. The virus infects the fungus. It's helping the plant to withstand both the fungus and the virus and the heat and the drought that are happening there. And I don't think it's actually helping. I think this is just like an accidental thing that happens. Viruses are generally not nice at all. Yeah, this is about the nicest thing you can say about them. That and this. So, viruses are an essential part of mammalian birth for all placental mammalians. So all the mammals that don't lay eggs work in this way. They have an ancient copy of one of those viruses related to HIV, and inside of pregnant mama, and this is humans too, we will boot up that particular gene. The gene is called syncytin. And what it does is it will fuse together some cells. So just like that virus that gave you the kiss and hug earlier, this virus protein is going to start merging cells together. And so by merge, I mean you have two cells, each has one nucleus, and we're now going to merge them. So we have one big cell with two nuclei. And then they keep merging until they have hundreds of cells, or rather one big cell with hundreds of nuclei trapped inside. I can only imagine screaming, but yeah, who knows? We can't actually hear. That turns out to have a very important function in feeding the baby. So the baby is actually going to induce this, and it's going to use it to kind of burrow, because the baby-mother relationship is actually kind of antagonistic. The baby's like a little parasite, and it's got to burrow, and basically it's got to strike a pretty big blood vessel. But it doesn't have any good way to do that. So it just expands out, fusing cells in all directions until it hits the main line, mother lode, and then it gets to drink that sweet blood. And then the baby grows up and is cute and goes to school and does things. And, you put them on your Instagram and stuff. So, yeah, I guess it's all right. Whatever. Become a parent if you want. I'm not making you. Other thing viruses can do is they can lead to hybridization and potentially new species. This is it's called a rock wallaby, and it is actually a hybrid of rock wallabies from two different genera. Genera is like genus. Genus is, yeah. And so you're not supposed to be able to have babies with somebody outside your own species. But these guys actually went outside their own genus and did have a baby, and the baby was okay. And it was okay, we think, because of viruses. So for the baby to replicate and for its cells to divide, it has to be able to line up its chromosomes. And what the virus had done is you had so many copies of this virus that it actually extended the centromere regions. And the copies of the virus, we think, became the points that could actually line up to pair up the chromosomes. Because if you get the same virus in both chromosomes, then yeah, why not? It's the same sequence, and so they'll stick together. And so we think that adjusted the centromere positions such that they were able to actually hybridize, even though their chromosomes are really different, like more than a genus different. So it's kind of cool, right? I don't remember whether this particular one was sterile or was able to have babies. It's from a 2001 paper. You can go read all about it if you like. Yeah. So there we are at the end, and we still got this question: what's a virus? What is a virus? Is it how you feel? Should you call a virus? Is there like such a thing as like a nose virus versus a stomach virus? Or are those really the same virus with a slight tweak, or the same exact virus that's gone into a different place? The answers may astound you, and we'll get through all of these in the class, or at least I'll show you some examples, because as with any question in virology, there's no one answer that you can say, yeah, that's correct. Stamp it, put it in a book, put the book on a shelf, put your name on the book, and rake in that money. Yeah. You can try. I don't want to write any books. And I think virology is a fascinating subject, but one that's still very much in its infancy, despite how much people like me think we know about them. There's still a lot to learn. So thanks very much. This has been Virology, the first lesson. Hope you liked it.